prime purpose in life should be to help one another. But if one can't help anyone, at least don't hurt them. African writers have dwelt on so many issues bordering on the need for man to remain his brother's keeper, especially in our continent, as they say, charity begins at home. This is African Literature on the NTA, Africa's largest television network, and I am Nene Basi, welcoming you on another exciting edition. Protecting and preserving human existence is non-negotiable. Therefore, caregivers in our society play the role of ensuring that human lives are preserved through the technological advancements available to us in the world of science.
Prior to the discovery of modern medicine, life had been a fleeting motion for all of mankind. The environment was replete with unseen dangers in the form of diseases and unexplained medical conditions. With the passage of time and advanced technology, medical practice changed into an organized profession, and people experienced a significant improvement in the quality of their lives. Medicine therefore bridged the gap between science and human health. Indeed, the application of scientific knowledge to human health is a crucial aspect of clinical practice. Medical practitioners are one important agent through which scientific understanding is expressed. Doctors play a significant role in our lives. The absolute first and last event of a human are both certified by doctors in maternity hospitals and morgue. A doctor is a person with an extensive knowledge in the domain of medical science, who applies and dedicates his knowledge to identify the medical problems faced by the patient and then uses his skills to prevent or cure it. Hippocrates and Imhotep are some of the most ancient doctors in the world who contributed a lot towards mankind. Shushruta was the first surgeon in the world who lived around 800 BC. All of these men belong to a different era and background. However, their dedication and passion for saving lives and mending them are what makes them stand together. Their contribution to human health is beyond comparison, and the rich culture of the medicinal world is still in its glory, especially in this era of COVID-19 pandemic. Health professionals play a central and critical role in improving access and quality healthcare for the population. They provide essential services that promote health, prevent diseases, and deliver healthcare services to individuals, families, and communities based on the primary health care approach. Modern medical technology coupled with a doctor's care can give patients diagnosed with terminal illnesses the hope for living longer. Today, when there is an outbreak of epidemic or pandemic, information provided by doctors can help curtail them. Doctors check the spread of such diseases by creating awareness amongst the masses. They do so by alerting them about bad hygiene and risky behaviors that can lead to such ailments. Besides this, doctors also work alongside researchers to find new cures and run tests on consenting patients in order to come up with the perfect medical concoctions.
On this episode, we'll beam our searchlights on the wanton waste of life. Wole Soyinka, one of Africa's prolific writers, in his work, Madmen and Specialists, captures all these thoughts and many more. Stay with us.
Flesh and blood are sacred, therefore let's embrace the sacredness of existence, treasure life and love one another from the heart. Caregivers in our society, whether doctors, nurses, alternative medicine healers, and many more, are expected to preserve and nurture human life through their knowledge of modern and traditional science. Wole Soyinka's preoccupation with the carnage of war informed his writing of Madmen and Specialists, a play considers Nigeria's disability study and the need to stop the wanton waste of human lives.
I think Wole Soyinka was preoccupied with the problem of war, the carnage from war, because in the play you have references made to flesh eating, which is cannibalism, and the actual eating of flesh, so described in such a way that the reader gets disgusted. But when we encounter the characters in the text, we are told that they have lost that sense of self-disgust. It's a post-war drama because it was published after the Civil War that took place between 1967 and 1970. And when you go through some reviews, they tell you it's about the Nigerian Civil War, it's about the Congo War. Someone even said you could even draw some, analogies about Vietnam or other war-ridden countries. With the word mad, most of the characters, oscillate between lunacy and sanity. But I think they are more mad than sane. And I find it gratifying to note that it's actually the men in the drama that are mad. And I believe that was why you had the title Mad Men and Specialists. But at another level, whether male or female, it's generic man. We are all mad in a way because the carnage, the murder, the killing, the conflict that we see, not just in Nigeria, but all over the world, tells us that just as we have madmen, there are specialists expected to cure them. But what do we have in the play? The specialist, Dr. Bero, goes to war as a member of the medical corps in a convalescence home. And what did he do? He made a U-turn and joined the intelligence gathering outfit. In fact, he wasn't referred to as a medical specialist, but an intelligence specialist. And his father got angry and told that same line, followed him to war. The father taught him how to eat human flesh, either as, victims of war or just outright murder, but they feasted on human flesh. And in fact, a character in the play talks about the favorite part of the body that he likes to eat. You see, it disgusts the reader, but then how disgusted are we about the wanton waste of human lives? So Soyinka must have, tried to draw the attention of the reader and the audience to that indisputable fact that life is sacred.
Themes like sacrifice, search for truth, the environment, womanhood, parasitism in human race, among others, are examined in the play.
Looking at the text again, we see the emphasis on the earth. The earth will always take its own. And whatever you take from the earth, you are supposed to give back or replenish it. And two very significant characters in the play tell us this aspect, Ìyá Àgbà and Ìyá Mate. Ìyá Mate is more on the quiet side, but Ìyá Àgbà, from her name, grandmother, big mother, okay, is the one who confronts Dr. Bero towards the end of the play to tell him that the earth, as it revolves, ages, but then whatever you take from the earth, you give it back. And whatever you give back to the earth, it uses to replenish itself. Therefore, what should we give to the earth? Is it human blood? What should we sacrifice? The theme of sacrifice is also very important in the play.
Characters in the text are portrayed as victims of war.
They are referred to as mendicants in the play. You have Afa, Goyi, the cripple, and the blind man. These are victims of the different harsh circumstances in which they found or still find themselves. For example, Afa was a chaplain. How did his ordeal start? The spasms that he suffers from. In fact, the play tells us he's a victim of St. Vitus. And St. Vitus is like epilepsy. It's a psychological or neurological order that makes the victim to double up. And I tried to Google it, and it has something to do with chorea, that's dance, movement, and then you have the blind man who became blind because his eyes were bombed in war. And you have the cripple who cannot really do much for himself in terms of mobility. And then the Goyi is the one who doesn't have legs, okay? He is also immobile to some extent. And so the text is considered Nigeria's classic example of debility studies, okay? That is the study of infirmity, the study of sickness, the study of those who are ill psychologically or even from environmental factors.
The play is replete with ironical and satiric scenes which playwright utilized to further expand the plot of the drama.
Ironically, the incarceration of the old man is a style that raises the curiosity of the reader. Very early in the play, you want to see the old man, you want to know where he's kept. And ironically, it's an enclosed or confined space, the clinic of, Dr. Bill. And when the reader's curiosity is satisfied, we see that indeed Dr. Bill is one of the madmen, even though his father, the old man, could be seen as a madman too. But the chief lunatic in the text is Dr. Bill, who almost strangles his father. And what do we have to say to that? It means that total breakdown of humanity, that total breakdown of reason. And even as the characters in the play search for truth, they search for truth as a style, as a theme, or as a major concern of the dramatist or the reader.
The style and language of the play are specialized and actions happening in high speed, full of suspense, leaving the reader in a reflective mood.
Language is a style that Soyinka uses. There are Latinate words, there are medical words from medical registers, and of course you have, ellipses. He uses a lot of ellipses, especially when they talk about the ideology as, or they sing about the visit of the First Lady. The reader or the audience, even though finds some of these styles, comical, they are deep to the extent that the style is, utilized to further extend the plot, so that when you encounter the characters as they sing or they speak and they don't complete their words, or they keep the reader or the audience guessing about the meaning of some words or some context, I think it's a device that makes the reader to think. Any reader of Soyinka's plays has to think. You are always asking yourself, what is he talking about? What does he mean? What am I supposed to adduce this particular meaning to? Does it refer to me? Does it have to do with my role in the society? How am I supposed to contribute to what he is saying? And of course, his use of satire.
He is a dramatist whose works are timeless, that remains relevant to generations unborn.
Wale Soyinka is a multi-faceted dramatist. Okay, whichever way you want to look at it, his works reflect different aspects of life, from political to social to economic. The fact that he is able to weave history, weave local or global history into patterns for people to see. Issues of ritual, issues of sacrifice, issues of patriotism in the different genres of literature tells me that he is one writer whose works are going to make more contributions as events unfold. Reading Madmen and Specialists 20 years ago didn't evoke the meaning that I get from it now. And so in this COVID-19 season, you want to look at how a dramatist 30, 40 years from when a situation occurred is able to project into the future. It's like a time series, And for me, that stands him in good stead. His works are evergreen and they cannot be considered to be dated, because as national issues arise, you note that, something like that or reference to that was made in a poem, a play, a novel, an essay by Wale Soyinka. He's a relevant writer, he's a committed dramatist, and one that continues to add value to the world of dramatic creativity.
committed dramatist, one that will continue to add value to the world of dramatic creativity. Art composition will come up shortly.
Madmen and Specialists, a play by Wole Soyinka, conceived in 1970 during his imprisonment in the Nigerian Civil War. It is his 8th play which has a close link to the theatre of the absurd. Madmen and Specialists is considered Soyinka's most pessimistic play, dealing with man's inhumanity and pervasive corruption in structures of power. The plot concerns Dr. Barrow, a corrupt specialist who imprisons and torments his physician father. Barrow and his father have lost their moral compass, but other community members in the play offer hope that society can still heal. Akinwande Oluwole Babatunde Soyinka, known as Wole Soyinka, is a playwright, a poet, a dramatist, an essayist, and a Nobel Prize winner in literature. He is the first in sub-Saharan Africa to be honored in that category. Born on the 13th of July 1934, he studied at the University of Leeds, University of London, University of Johannesburg, University of Ibadan, and the Abeokuta Grammar School. Themes highlighted in the play include pleurisy, environment, womanhood, war, sacrifice, human parts merchandise. His other works include Kongi Harvest, a dance of the forest, The Strong Breed, a play of giants, The Lion and the Jewel, Death and the King's Horseman, Trial of Brother Jero, The Interpreters, Beautification of Area Boy, Memoirs, Poetry collections, essays, movies, translations, and many more.
What is symbolism in literature? Well, our next segment will handle that.
Symbolism. The word symbolism is derived from the Greek word symbolon, meaning token or watchword. Symbolism is a figure of speech that is used when an author wants to create a certain mood or emotion in a work. It can also be seen as the use of an object, person, situation, or word to represent something else. Metaphors and allegory are literary elements that help writers effectively create symbolism in their literary pieces. Symbolism more so means an act of attaching inner meaning to outward things. Types of symbolism: religious symbolism, socio-cultural symbolism, economic symbolism, science, arts, and political symbolisms. Religious symbolism. There are a lot of religious symbols based on different religions, to include Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and many more. Socio-cultural symbolism. This is a physical manifestation that signifies the ideology of a particular culture that merely have meaning within a culture or social group. Economic symbolism. Economic symbols are the expressions of symbols for economic purposes, for example, MasterCard, equations, and many more. Sign symbolism. This includes standard signs that have been adopted by convention to simplify the writings of numbers, formulas, and equations used in science. Art symbolism. Some art symbols include chalk, carvings, paintings, sculptures, and others. Political symbolism. This could be represented with national flags, clothing, anthems, animals, and many more. Examples of symbolism: The dove symbolizes peace. A red rose or red color symbolizes love or romance. Black often symbolizes death or evil. A ladder. This stands as a symbol for connection between the heaven and the earth. A broken mirror often symbolizes separation. Importance of symbolism. In literature, symbolism is used to produce impact, which it accomplishes by attaching additional meaning to an action, object, or name. Symbolism helps to create emotion in a story. It is one of the most important elements in giving an artwork depth, either in colors of a painting, the metaphor in a poem, or setting of a literary piece.